This is my 2.4 adaptations of the body system to long-term training. So different events and different demands. As we can see in the picture, Cristiano Ronaldo's body has changed due to long-term training. Ronaldo has always stunned the football world, but as his training programs have become more intense and more difficult, his physiological changes have changed dramatically. Football is a team player sport, which means that it is both a aerobic and anaerobic sport, because there are some stages of the game where you are running and there are some stages which you are walking. As we continue to train for long amounts of time, normally 6 weeks or over, we would expect to see a reduced resting heart rate, and have a reduced resting heart rate means that we have more of a heart rate range to work in. Having a bigger heart rate range to work in allows for a more intense session or game, and this means that you won't get fatigued as quickly, and this is what I will be explaining through the presentation. So what are aerobic training methods? Aerobic training methods include continuous training, such as continuous training, fartlek training, or interval training of long durations. An average aerobic training program would normally be for 6 weeks or over. During this time, it allows for the myocardium of the heart to get stronger. The myocardium is the muscle wall of the heart. The myocardium is like training any other muscle. If you train it hard, and the myofascial fibers will become broken down and grow back stronger. Aerobic training will help you sustain energy and your speed for a longer period of time. For example, if you're running at 17 kilometers an hour for your VO2 at the end of the 6 week program, I would expect to see a change, and for that to change to 18 or 19. This would benefit you in team games such as football and rugby, because it means that you can work at high intensity for longer. Anaerobic training includes Tabata training, high intensity interval training, and fartlek training. Anaerobic training will be at higher intensity for a shorter amount of time, and this will work on power and speed. An average anaerobic training program will normally last around 6 weeks or more to allow the fast glycolytic muscle fibers to adapt and become stronger. You can train for speed, power, and strength with training methods such as plyometrics, interval training, or resistance training. The anaerobic system would be used in sports such as sprinting, javelin, and in some aspects of team games. So here we have a VO2 max test pre-training program, and we can see that heart rate increases as I would expect, and the participant reaches the VO2 max of 17 kilometers an hour. This is a VO2 test post-training, and as we can see from the post-stage file, I would expect the participant to last longer. Therefore, the line is longer, which is the black solid line we're looking at, because the participant has started off with a lower resting heart rate due to being fitter. I'd expect the line to be lower because our participant has more heart rate range to work in. So, cardiovascular adaptations. As we progress through exercise, our body will start to change and adapt because it is becoming used to the stresses that we are putting on it. For example, a middle distance runner for 1500 meter, if they were to do a 6 week training program focusing on aerobic exercise, their body would adapt in many ways. For example, if our runner was to train for 6 weeks or more, then the myocardium, which is the muscle of the heart, will start to increase in size and become bigger. This is known as hypertrophy. As the muscle is becoming bigger and stronger, it means that the heart won't have to work as hard because it can eject more blood out in one beat. This has a knock-on effect, which means that our resting heart rate will become lower. Our resting heart rate will be lower because our heart doesn't have to work at such a hard level to pump blood around the body. This means that we have more of a heart rate range to work in. For example, someone who is 20 years old will have a max heart rate of 200. If a person has a resting heart rate of 50 and the other has one of 80, then the athlete with 50 will have 130 beats to work with compared to 120 beats that the other athlete would work to. So the person with 120 beats can push harder and continue for longer. So, respiratory adaptations. As we progress through exercise, our ventilation will become more efficient. This means that we can utilize the oxygen we breathe in more efficiently, and as a result we will have a higher VO2 max. When we are exercising, our breathing rate increases. However, if we have a very well trained respiratory system, then they will have more range of breathing rate to work with. For example, in submaximal exercise, their heart will increase, but it will still be at a steady state, and their steady state range will increase. Because we're always working our respiratory muscles, they will become stronger due to hypertrophy. This means that we can breathe air in forcefully and also expire more forcefully. Furthermore, because the muscles are stronger, it means that it won't fatigue as quickly, and therefore we can go for longer. Our lung volume will become more increased because our muscles are becoming stronger, which means at rest we can hold more oxygen in our lungs. This also relates to breathing rate because it means that we won't have to inspire as much. We will have a higher absorption rate of oxygen from the increased circulation and also capillarization. This means that diffusion will happen quicker and also more efficiently. Neuromuscular adaptations. So as we progress through exercise, our body's muscle fibers will start to break down. When we recover, they will grow back bigger and stronger, and this is known as hypertrophy. This will help us in aerobic performance because their muscles will grow back, which means they can undergo bigger stress for a longer time. And as our body starts to adapt to exercise, the mitochondria become more efficient. Mitochondria produce ATP. The more ATP we produce, the more energy we will have. So here is a Wingate test. As we can see in the Wingate test, the graph is of a footballer who plays on the wing or at fullback, which means they will have predominantly fast glycolytic muscle fibers. As we can see, the participant has a very high power output at the beginning, but his pace decreases dramatically during the test. If the athlete was to train for a period of 6 weeks, I'd expect to see a higher power output, but I'd also expect to see the participant sustain the pace for longer. I would also expect to see the power output higher because of hypertrophy, meaning that his muscles will be stronger and therefore able to perform harder during the power output. So, energy systems. As we progress through exercise, our energy systems are going to become more efficient. With increased activity, our enzyme activity also increases. With an increase in enzyme production, it means that more ATP can be produced, and as a result of more ATP being produced, we have more energy. Our body will start to use fats more as an energy source to save carbohydrates. However, you need to find a balance in the body. The process is called ketosis. Ketosis is where is the state that your body enters into when it starts converting stored fats into ketones to use as fuel for your cells. If you eat plenty of carbohydrates, you will never enter into ketosis. Instead, your body will simply use all the glucose as the fuel. The benefits are that we save our glucose. The benefits of us using fat is that we save our glucose and burn other fuels for energy to make us go for longer. Lactic acid affects the affinity of the enzymes which makes ATP. So that means that when we get to the latter stages of a competition, there will be less energy available due to the affinity of the lactic acid. So skeletal adaptations. There we go. As we progress through exercise, our bones will harden and become more dense. This means that we can do more weight-bearing exercise and be able to take more high impact in sports such as rugby. Increased calcium stores mean that we will have higher amount of bone mass, and therefore means our skeletal system is stronger. For example, this is a benefit in rugby because it means that you can take harder contact. And then also our tendon and ligament strength and stretch will be more. So as our muscles increase in size, so will our tendons, because our bone mass and muscle mass is growing, and therefore our tendons need to increase in size and strength to allow the stronger muscles to be able to attach the bone without the risk of injury. And that was my 2.4 presentation.